quick. This is ridiculous, okay?
Sir.
Can I
Yes,
do
sir.
that? So I want every American who works out of the ocean and works in the ocean and fishes for all of the different things and the treasures to let you know that we're behind you 100%. You do an incredible job. And we want conservation. We want good environmental practices, very important. But we also want something that's fair to you. They've taken your livings away. I've been hearing about this for a long time in Maine and other places up here. I'd let it extend to other places that are also affected. Canada's given a tremendous advantage over the United States because of the practices of the previous administration and probably others. So we're not going to let that happen. As an example, I heard that Canada doesn't have to pay a tariff going into Europe.
That's correct.
But you do.
And we do.
Okay. So
And then
if that goes on, then we're going to do something that's going to make that look like small time.
So
last
tariffs
year,
are bad.
we were sending, or 2 years ago, we were sending a lot of product to China, and then China put a tariff on us for 40% because of some of the trade issues between our two countries.
And what happened
Why
to the
would
tariff?
China
Is it
put a
on there?
tariff on the
It's
fishermen?
not gone down. I haven't checked lately, but you're still paying the tariffs, right? The lobsters still going to Canada, and from Canada they go over free, but it's just an added expense to the Maine lobsterman, who also has a 30% disadvantage.
So you're saying China
on
charges a 40% tariff? And
tariffs.
how big is the tariff that the European Union charges?
20, is it 20 or 22?
Okay. And this country, because of
Kim.
stupidity for years, hasn't charged them.
And the
Anything.
funniest part of this whole issue is the
Trump
Canadian
didn't hear that.
lobster we're talking of and the Maine lobster come out of the same water.
Are they the same lobster, would you say, basically?
Yes.
Would you say they're
Yes, they're the
equivalent
same
as
lobster.
They're equivalent. They're
Is
from
there a
the,
difference
they're
in
the Gulf of
size or
Maine.
type? Any difference?
They're coming out of the
It's
Gulf of
the same
Maine.
lobster. So you're set up with a 20% tax that they don't have, so they have a very good thing.
China imposed the tariff after Trump put
That's
tariffs
European
on
Union,
China.
right?
Yep.
The European
Trump
Union
is hurting the
has
fishermen.
ripped this country off so much, it's unbelievable.
And I'll
It's
tell
so
you,
easy to solve. I'm going to call them,
So easy to solve. It's been
David, you're going to come in,
2.5 years of tariffs.
write a letter, and if they don't change, we're going to put a tariff on their cars until they change, and they'll change right away. Okay?
Could have done that 2.5 years ago.
You know, people hear about the European Union, sounds nice. They've been almost
Hey,
as
Rachel.
bad over the years as China in terms of trade, but nobody talks about it. There's a perfect case, Maine lobster. You understand
Hillary.
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We're going to charge an equivalent plus tariff to them if they don't drop their tariff on your lobster and seafood, okay?
An equivalent
And
plus.
we can do that. Peter, do you agree
Not a
with
thing.
that? Do you like it?
We need to
Let me
strike
put
back.
you in charge of that
We
one.
need to
That's a
strike back.
natural for you. Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
That's a natural for you. European Union
Guy's agreeing with him. He stops
charges
him.
us a
Excuse me.
tariff. They don't charge Canada a tariff. This is for the press. So Canada doesn't pay a tariff for the same exact lobster in the same
Rob.
waters, but we pay a tariff. If European Union doesn't drop that tariff immediately, we're going to put a tariff on their cars, which will be equivalent.
Because we have a bunch of
coming
other
in-
tariffs
coming
on
for
Europe
nothing,
already.
which is ridiculous. Okay? You understand?
Canada
It's
has
gonna be
good
the equivalent
negotiators.
Plus.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be the equivalent plus. Watch how fast
Equivalent
that
plus
tariff
is
comes
not a
up.
thing.
All right?
Equivalent
Watch how
or
fast.
greater than. There's
Should
no
be
equivalent plus. Plus plus.
Okay? I'm going to put Peter Navarro in charge of it. That's perfect for him. I'll take that one off your
Equivalent
plate,
plus
okay?
plus.
All right, Peter Navarro, you're in charge. Okay? Thank you.
It's FU Friday, so
This country has
what a
been
fucking
treated
moron.
so
Feel free
badly
to
on trade
swear
for so
in the
many years.
chats.
We have such bad agreements. We're breaking so many of them up. It's been treated so badly, it's hard to believe.
It is hard to believe. If any of you see a
in some
chat
respects,
moderation window because
Canada's
someone
been
else
our
swore,
worst enemy
please approve it.
in this-
Swearing is
in the
completely
produce
allowed today.
industry. We cannot send.
Canada's
meat
been very tough. Canada charged
You're
in
half right,
Wisconsin,
David.
Before I got up and changed it, 287% tariffs on dairy products.
Yeah.
So think of it, and they kept it at 287. They didn't want to make it 300. because
It
they
wasn't
thought somebody
287,
might find
but-
out. And until I became president, nobody knew. I ended it. But they were charging Wisconsin and our farmers 287% tariffs.
What are the odds he
to
has that
send
number
dairy
right?
products to Canada. So therefore, you didn't send. You couldn't compete,
You couldn't compete.
and our people didn't charge them anything.
It was
Canada's
270.
been very tough, very tough. You know why? Because they got away with it, that's all. Because people sitting here didn't know what the hell they were doing. Okay. But the deal is worth it. You know, the new deal is a good deal. It got rid of all that stuff. But we didn't talk about lobster. But Peter Navarro's going to be the lobster king now, okay? All right, Peter?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
look,
We'll
you
get
can do
after
it.
it.
Let's see what you can do.
Dear to my heart.
Let's see what you can do.
This state right here, Maine, is dear to my heart. I spent a lot
There's
of time
another
here over the
vegetable
years.
that most people don't speak of, and we
And that's
can't
his
bring
name
to
is
Canada.
Trump.
We're one of them. We have a company in Maine that is one of the major growers of broccoli in the country.
Broccoli. And
In the summer, they're in Maine. In the winter, they're in Florida. But what has happened in the last few years is the Canadians bring their broccoli into market. They have a 30% advantage on the exchange rate, and so we can't sell our broccoli, and we can't send it to Canada.
that's our big
obviously.
thing
That's
with the
the
dollar.
overvalued
That's
dollar.
what
Oh,
you're gonna
let's
do.
put a
Yeah.
tariff on Canadian
The dollar.
broccoli. That'll
Yeah,
solve
right.
that.
Do that one too, sir. Let me make me the
You
dollar
handle
king
broccoli in
too.
the same way?
What's that?
Is it broccoli primarily that and the lobster?
It's a different broccoli?
etc.?
There are a couple others. There's broccoli, blueberries. Blueberries, Maine used to grow 90% of the wild blueberries in the world.
So where's it done now?
Canada, New Brunswick, and Quebec have got 300,000 acres on, and so now Maine's blueberries are selling below growing cost.
And when you talked about the Obama administration about this, they did nothing.
They did nothing. I spent a lot of time in commerce.
Let's get on this.
The three things. plus
Because of
this.
the exchange rate, which Trump has been bragging
This man
about.
he's a believer. He knows exactly what to do. I don't have to tell him a thing.
If the U.S.
And you
dollar
guys
is
will
too
work on the
high,
other stuff
it
together.
puts them at a
Any
disadvantage.
questions, by the way? Questions?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Shouldn't be any questions after that. You got
No,
more
I
than
still
you
same
got
question.
before?
will
What
just make one
the
more comment.
fuck?
Amazing, right?
Whoa.
I will make one more comment, and we need your help on. As the country is reopening, of course, right now Maine is still tied up pretty tight because we have a governor that's not reopening very fast. But as
Yeah,
we reopen,
why isn't your governor opening up your state?
I don't know. We
You
don't know.
All these states
Because
are being opened.
people
they're
are
making a lot of
dying?
money. That's why we had the good numbers today. You have a governor that doesn't know what she's doing, and she's like a dictator.
Yes,
you
she
know?
is.
That's
Why
true.
isn't she
I saw it.
opening up your
I
state?
saw,
Well, one thing that she's doing is
David's right.
$600
Trump doesn't
a
know
week
what broccoli is.
that the people on unemployment
Right.
are getting. She is allowing them to continue to collect when they're called back to work, and so people aren't coming back to work. And everybody in this room knows of people.
So she's
If-
taking advantage of the system,
Yes.
but she's not letting them come back anyway because you're shut down.
For the
That's right.
welfare
The
of
few
her
that would.
citizens.
I know of 3 cases last week, but an employer told me that these 3 people were called back. I reported them that I have work for them, but they're still getting the $600.
What would you say about that? Peter?
Wait, people are actually getting unemployment? Where? I'm moving to Maine, guys.
Look, this whole problem in the bill.
I'm
where
kidding. I'm never
paying
moving
people to
again.
stay home,
I'm done.
It's
If anybody wants
know, it
everything
works
from my
in
storage room in LA, go ahead,
damage.
loot.
Yeah.
doing tremendous damage to our economy because it's keeping people home, and the
The
longer people
Democrats
stay
wanted
home,
this. Feather betting, okay? But the Democrats wanted it.
The $600, that was a Republican idea to
And
start
it
with.
works.
But honestly, it's
It
good.
works in
It-
Republican states.
It does work in Republican states, but the Democrats wanted it, and we negotiated. But
Oh,
it's
they handpicked this guy.
unnecessary,
Correct.
and it makes it overly complex. But a place like this, we're straightening that. Any further legislation, we're straightening it out, and we just did PPP today. So
The legislation is fine if everybody follows the rules.
Yeah.
But if a governor
you
decides
see,
to,
she's not supposed to be doing that.
that's correct.
So when she doesn't do that, it's fine.
That is
But the
correct.
governor is playing cute.
If you call someone to work, and they refuse to go to work, you tell the state, and the state will take their unemployment
Right,
away.
exactly. So she's not supposed to be doing that.
That's correct.
Let's call her on that, please.
yeah,
Call her
so many-
legally. Not
people
allowed
of
to.
Maine want to work.
Yes,
they do
they
not want
do.
a handout. They
When
want
is
to
she
work.
opening the state, if ever?
I would
think
like
there's
a
another
handout.
move in July. There's going to be another move in July. She started
like any
opening
money.
up some of the restaurants that you can have, 6
Very
social
small.
distancing and 50%.
And you don't have a big problem up here. So why is she doing this?
Well, what she's afraid of, or what she's claiming, is that in the summer, Maine only has 1.3 million people, but we have 40 plus million visitors a year, 30 plus million in 3 months. And she's afraid that if she doesn't quarantine the entire state, that these folks.
It was a great day
The problem is, though, those 3 months
for
of your
George Floyd.
Christmas,
Yes, he said
right?
that.
You got it. It's
Look at my Twitter page.
Tiffany likes December.
He didn't say that
You
here.
like
It was
these
in the
3
previous
months.
conference.
So she's going to get rid of all of your wealth, and you're never going to recover that.
That is correct. And so what I've advised her to do,
Not good.
what I've tried her to do is everybody, you
YouTube.
can only get into Maine 2 ways, well, 3 ways. The Canadian border, the 95, or Route 2.
Right.
So if you put somebody at Route 2, everybody's got a foreign plate, an out-of-state plate. You
check
get their name, telephone number, where they're going to be. Problem solved. If you have
not
an
a big
uptick,
problem.
you go right there.
Close the
You're
borders.
giving away your
Close
tourist
the
season
state
this year, 'cause
borders.
it's starting, right? So
Anybody
you're giving
coming in
away
from
your tourist
District
system.
13, you clamp down on that
She
ass.
must know this, right?
I would think she's a
No,
right
how
lady.
does she do a thing like this? She's going to destroy your state. All right, look, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. We're going to solve your fishing problem. We're going to solve something that nobody thought was solvable. We'll solve it very easily. And Peter, you're going to handle that other situation.
He's talking to Fisher guy
incredible. Would you
and just
like to say
taking his
something?
word at
Go
rote.
ahead.
A president.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to.
Thank you. It's my honor.
It's an honor to be here to discuss with you the importance of
That's
commercial
Maggie
fishing
Raymond.
to our country. I am the executive director of Associated Fisheries of Maine, and I have more than 30 years' experience in regional, national, and international fisheries management. And in all of that time, I have never known a president to express
Sounds
a
like it,
concern
Rogue.
about the well-being of our fishing and seafood industries. So thank you very much for your interest, for your executive order promoting
He's
American
all about the
seafood,
beneficiaries.
for this announcement that you've made
I have
today,
that?
which will allow our fishermen to go back to work. The Antiquities Act
And we're
process.
doing that immediately. Are we doing that as of immediately?
You're opening up 5,000 square miles
As of-
with the stroke of a pen.
As of when?
The minute you sign it,
I'm gonna get
you will
going
begin
with the sign.
planning, and
I get my fishing pole.
you're taking down a no fishing sign and opening up.
I love that.
The process by which this monument was established is a non-transparent process that does not allow for stakeholder input, does not produce any kind of economic analysis of the negative impacts, and prevents all of us from enjoying the benefits of our healthy marine resources. So again, we appreciate that you've recognized that and are taking action to correct that.
And your senators, where were your senators for all these years? What happened?
They were concerned.
They abdicated their responsibility. They went home early this year because it's election year and gave all their power to our governor.
So in addition to
that
the
is-
opposition from the fishing industry,
Okay, hold
the
on.
Secretary of Commerce has also heard.
That is impossible. Gray suit guy just said that the senators abdicated all of their responsibility. Is he talking about the state senators? Because Trump asked about the federal senators. Wow. Okay. Anyway, getting back to this. Sorry, guys.
We don't need the Antiquities Act to be establishing monuments that restrict fishing.
So what do you
You're
need?
bringing that process back.
Well, this
bringing that
order
back.
will take care of our
Okay, so
immediate
you're going to
need.
be okay,
You're
and
gonna
this is going to do
you're
most of
gonna
it.
take that back.
That's a big thing, right?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
so lucky I'm president. You are so lucky. I don't even know you, and you're so lucky.
Well, we're also looking to a pending action by the New England Fishery Management Council and the National Marine Fisheries Service, which will likely be voted on sometime in the fall, which would establish a requirement for our fishing boats to
Does
carry
anybody know what this
100%
proclamation is?
of observers or at-sea monitors on all of our trips at our own expense. And this could be as much as $40,000 a year for some of our vessels. This is simply an expense that we cannot afford at this time, especially on the heels where we will be trying to recover from this pandemic, which has had a huge impact on the commercial fishing industry in New England. We certainly cannot afford an additional expense that is totally discretionary The law does not.
What's happening with that, David?
That's in
Oh yeah,
process.
he's taking away the
That's in
Get it
process.
done.
It's
That's
We'll
part
get
of
it
the
done.
conservation areas in the
I just put
Atlantic.
it on your radar, Mr. President, so that
So
we can
the-
deal with it in the future.
Laws that were
So
put there to
European
protect
Union charges you a
the
20%
sanctuary.
tariff. And is
He
China
hates sanctuary
charging a
cities and he
40%
hates sanctuary
tariff, or is that not?
fisheries.
What's China charging? 40.
I'm not familiar with that.
Or not? You know, Paul?
What? China right now is charging a tariff on Maine lobster going to China.
How
And
much?
Our
40%.
Sales to China have gone from like
Gordon's bill, sponsored by Tucker Carlson.
less than 100,000.
Why?
went from
Because of
600,000
Trump,
pounds,
that guy that
that's
you're
where you
looking
go,
at right there.
to
This is his
100,000.
fault.
So you're way down.
And the only
Is
way
that
they-
because of the tariff?
Yes.
Okay.
What they
Yes,
do-
Peter,
it's because of the tariff.
Corresponding tariff to China for pick a product, a corresponding plus if they don't drop the tariff on Maine lobster going into China.
Corresponding
Okay?
equivalent
Very
plus.
simple. And I don't mind.
Yeah, the
very
distribution
no, the
companies
Chinese
have
product-
set up companies in Canada. They ship their.
No, I know, that's what they do. They go through different companies. It's called transshipping,
Yeah.
to be exact. Transship, they transship. Okay, ready?
Yes, sir.
China, EU. All you do is say, that's okay, keep charging us, and we're going to charge you a corresponding on something that they sell that's very precious to them. Put a correspond. It should be for the same amount plus.
Yes, sir.
We'll take care of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. President, we operate a few boats here in Maine, but we also operate some scallop boats and some factory processors out in Alaska. And there is a tariff on the flatfish that's shipped into China that stays there. So if we want to ship to them and develop a market in China, they do enforce a 25% tariff on it. What we have available to us is if they do process some of the fish, it's shipped back in the United States, and there is no tariff on that coming in at this present time.
So what you're saying is we don't charge them a tariff, but they charge us a tariff.
That's exactly right.
How stupid is that?
We're working on it.
How stupid is that, free traders? I tell you, the
But
free
it's American
traders out there,
fish going over there for
everyone was talking about
processing.
this, oh, we're free
So
traders.
that's not what he's saying.
How stupid is that? So they charge us. It's
very
we
stupid.
Don't charge them.
Yeah, you'll be
And
pleased
they
to
get paid for doing the work on top of it.
Because the
you'll be
fish is not
pleased to know
staying
that
there.
We just had a Zoom meeting with Senator Sullivan.
That's standard
last night.
practice.
He's working on it. He's going to be in touch with a few people. He wanted to say hello to you.
Sullivan's a good
No,
man.
Yeah.
fortified, they're going to
Sullivan's a
put
good man.
the
He'll
same
try,
tariff
but
plus.
Nobody can do
That'll
this
fix it.
like I can.
It's like everybody, though. We're all trying
Nobody
to
what?
do it. but
It's
if-
simple.
Yeah.
It'll be
I
done.
can't pause
Thank
this.
you.
Sorry,
It's
guys.
very simple. He's a good guy, Dan Sullivan. Paul, you've said enough. David, do you have anything to say real fast?
Well, I would like to thank you for taking the time to come listen to the fishing community. Since the moment you took office, you've been clear and consistent in your efforts to bring common sense back to the executive branch. You've done more than any president in our lifetime to bring common sense to government. And when you think about it, 5,000 square miles is an area that's larger than the state of Connecticut, the state of Delaware, or Rhode Island.
That we
And
almost
the
fished completely
prior
out.
administration essentially put a no fishing sign up
This is a clown table.
to these individuals with the stroke of a pen. And you're addressing it. And your effort to ensure the voices of the people are heard is deeply appreciated across the country.
When the
folks
oceans
here,
die,
they go out, they brave the nation's waters, they bring an incredible natural resource benefit to the world, and they have the challenging task of facing whatever Mother Nature puts in front of them. They should not be in a situation where they're also having to fight their own government. And they needed common sense bureaucracy. And you're
that's
bringing
Secretary
it,
of the Interior, by the way.
and
Bernhardt.
in doing so,
took
we are
over for
not
Zinke.
changing the boundaries of the monument. And
Who
we
was
will
spending taxpayer money on
remain,
himself.
Protecting those objects.
Oh, hey, Larry.
that
Welcome.
need
That's
and
my
are
cousin Larry,
appropriately
everybody.
Protected by doing this. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And these two people will get it done. By luck, I happen to have the two right people with me. All right? Please.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Christian Porter. I'm I'm a commercial fisherman. I've been fishing for over 30 years. I fished for about everything over those
And you
years.
love doing that. You wouldn't switch for anything, even though they don't let you fish anymore.
No, well, I fish for different things. I fish for scallops now, and I fish for the lobster.
But you love it, right?
Oh, he's from
It's a way
Maine.
of life, Mr. President.
No, they love it. People love it. You wouldn't
Scallops?
switch to be
No,
president, right?
Right.
You're making a good decision.
So, and I'm president of the Maine Lobstermen's Association, and we
So
support the
literally,
Maine
he is a
Lobster Fleet.
president.
Supports 10,000 jobs on the water and another 5,500 shoreside jobs.
Yeah, he's Kevin Lee
So
Cousin. I
that's
love
why
that.
I'm
Thanks,
passionate
Lizzie.
about working with
Excuse me,
regulations
do
and
people
stuff.
come in? It must be other
Dumb question.
countries.
Here it comes.
They must send their ships into this 5,000 big mile
No,
stretch.
no,
right?
they can't. They can't.
No,
come
they
in
can't.
the
Really?
easy.
So we get 'em out through
Stupid
what,
question.
the Coast Guard?
Insanely
Navy?
stupid question.
We get them out.
Yeah.
So we police it at least, right?
Yeah,
Good.
right.
So go ahead.
So
It's the Atlantic Sanctuary.
keeping
Nobody
our
can
nation's
fish there
fishery
because
strong is a passion
we
of
almost
mine.
killed it.
That's why it's great to have this opportunity to talk to you about the process of the Northeast Canyons of Seamount. Rather than work with the constituents who actually fish there and were most knowledgeable about the issue, like this guy right here, this monument was formed in back rooms with special interests. This created
When
four
during
policies.
the other administration, you mean?
Yes.
Which administration? Obama.
The Obama administration did this
Well,
at
he's
the very
he's done Maine a tremendous disservice, I can tell you. Just from a common sense standpoint.
Can you
How
just
could
listen?
let a thing like this happen?
Just
This created poor policy. It hurt the fishermen. And we really worry about the precedent it sets, that you can close large areas of ocean and put all the rest of us who fish for different things in smaller and smaller boxes. So, and that hurts everybody.
So by opening up this 5,000 miles, this is a treasure chest.
It spreads boats out, yes. And
Did you ever think this was going to happen in your lifetime?
I did not. But the biggest thing is now people think when they're going to close this, they've got to go through the process. Fishermen need to have the input into this,
Right.
and we didn't. And so, and it's not the only thing. There's other things. I just want to, as a lobsterman, bring up something that I would be run out of town if I didn't bring
Go
up
ahead.
to you.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same situation. Our fishery is in great shape through years and years of good management. But despite our tremendous success, we find our industry being risk of being shut down because of the endangered right whale.
The endangered white whale.
Right whale.
Right
It's a
whale.
And so
for a second,
and
Trump was
we've
interested.
been in
There's a
excess
white
Is that
whale.
words? Because you have to be so careful. What
right,
is it?
the entanglements and what they're what
Is that in the same area that we're talking about?
No, it's a different area. It's along the coast of Maine. So our association, our executive director has had great conversations with your staff. One of them's here today. Alex Willett is here. He's up to speed on this. You had
Go really
He
quick.
is the white whale.
yeah, we had.
Wait,
You're
wait.
absolutely-
How is
JC
your
says
friend
he
right
is the
here
white whale.
Sent you a letter, and he can bring you up to speed
Good.
on this. Governor, you
How
sent
is
a
the
letter.
whale? Paul, you know this.
Yeah.
How is the whale hurting what they're doing?
Marfa, no sexy talking
The
here.
right whale is not hurting them. In fact, in the last 2 decades, there's not been an entanglement or a death in Maine waters.
Is that the
Now,
former governor of
they
Maine?
found some dead whales in Maine waters.
Is
but
that
they
Paul?
Came down from where the problem area is.
I
As we
recognize
talked
that
about
voice.
Earlier, the St. Lawrence Seaway. At the mouth of the St. Lawrence Seaway is where all the deaths and entanglements
So
are.
how do we solve this problem?
We solve this problem by going to NOAA and telling them to get reasonable about their regulations.
Going to where?
NOAA. They are the problem. And I've worked 2 years, I've worked
So
6 years.
you know what reasonable means, then, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so get 'em
That
done.
is correct.
Get them done. All right, you'll work that, David.
I'll talk.
Okay.
We just want our voices heard in the process.
We'll be able to. I assume there's a good solution to that, right?
Yes, there is.
Okay, work on it. And we want to
There's a-
protect the
there's a-
whale. I want to protect the whale too.
As we do
As
too.
long as we can protect the whale, I'm going to do it. All right, so I'm going to leave it to you.
We're in. And I will say, he said one thing that is so true about the fishermen in Maine. Maine has the only sustainable lobster fishery and certified in the world. These people will go bend over backwards.
Oh, that is
save
Paul. Thank you, Chris.
The laying, those are the layers and the
I thought it was
use,
Firestein.
they
I was
just
pretty
bend
sure.
over backwards.
If
It's
he
not
breaks out and
robbing
Broadway
the bottom.
hits, it's
One thing
Firestein.
about a Maine
You've been treated
lobster-
very badly. You know that, right? You better remember your president.
The one thing about a
Oh,
You guys
honey.
been treated very badly. I know what they've done to you. They've regulated you out of business.
A lot of
And
stuff
yet
going
you
on.
treated the area like it was your home. I know that. Go ahead.
the one thing that Washington has never understood.
Why
Maine
would you have
Lobsterman
Paul
is
there?
A family-owned business. It's hand-me-down from father to son for generations. If father
Yeah,
kills
it's
all
Paul
the
LePage.
lobster, the son is going to starve. And that's what the lobster industry is in Maine. It's the only one in the world.
What did he call this? This is the
Washington
guy
bureaucrats are telling us
who
we don't know
had
how to
binders of black drug dealers
All right.
that he showed to the press at a press
Go
conference,
ahead, please.
and he called
Thank
them.
you, Mr. President. John Williams, owner
Hold
of
on.
the Atlantic Red Crab Company. Going to change species a little bit. I'm in the crab business, not the lobster business.
Your
I've
38
been
cents has
fishing
already
in
been
this
spent, Chris.
Area that the 5,000 square miles personally since 1995, and there were people there before I was in there. And the interesting thing is going on Maggie Raymond's point is the lack of transparency.
Republican
in
governor
the
of Maine
process
is in
of
hot
sorting
water.
5,000 miles apart. The industry was never given the opportunity to get involved. It was like an
Well, not like now.
He called them
Exactly,
drug
and
dealers.
and we appreciate it. And
They
then
have
on
names
one
like D-Money,
talking-
Smoothie,
one
and
talking
Shifty.
point
And they
two
come
points
here and
back.
impregnate our women.
From fishing in the 5,000 miles.
That's who's talking
in that,
to Trump.
In that 5,000
So
miles.
what? And that's prime area, right?
Well, this is the ironic part of the whole thing. They said that they had to shut that 5,000 miles down for an emergency presidential action, and I was very vocal about it, and they grandfathered me for 7 more years in that 5,000 mile area. So if there
So
was
when is the 7 years up?
we're about halfway through it.
Oh, you're lucky you just made it. Huh?
We've had our fingers crossed since you got elected.
So is that very fertile in terms of crabs?
Yes, it's very fertile.
Because nobody's taking them, right?
It's we harvest from Virginia all the way to Canada.
So they gave you a grandfather of 7 years, and your
Yeah.
7 years is up.
Then
How
we're
many
out.
people were grandfathered?
It was my fishery and the offshore lobster fishery.
He must be a rich guy, right? Now, let me
I
ask
have a
you
good
this.
banker.
Do you have the problem with the European
It's all about
Union
being
too?
rich.
I don't do very much export to Europe. Most of it's
Well,
domestic.
you can't with the tariff. You can't.
Exactly.
So you don't
exactly.
bother.
And the other thing is I want to bring up that hasn't been brought up is we have a public process that's been in place for years and years and years to protect our resources and the ocean floor. And when
Nothing wrong with you being
gas
you
at
rich.
5,000 miles and how big of an
But you're
area
not getting
that
your money's
is.
worth on the Billy Joel thing.
Since
I've been
95,
slacking.
I think there's been, you'd have to correct me, but it's roughly 60,000 miles have been protected
Yep, that's
already.
selling heroin.
But they
Black guys were coming into
protected
Maine
in
selling heroin.
arenas like this that included scientists,
Guys named
fishermen,
Smoothie.
and environmentalists.
And is that wrong?
D-Money.
That's right.
Impregnating the women.
I think when you get a group of scientists and
Okay, so there you think we did
And
the
you know
right
what? He
thing.
I think that
Meaning people did the right thing.
probably
I think
happened.
that it's the public process as cumbersome as it can be, and sometimes I walked out of meetings not happy with the results, but it works.
But at least it went through a process.
It allows
And this did not go through a process.
zero. We had zero
Right?
words.
This didn't go through a
And
process.
this
This
one-
was done for politics. I
Total
got it.
politics. Just one last comment on it is of course where the industry was.
I like that they
left
have
to remain
props.
Completely silent and not go public. The millions of literature and propaganda and websites and everything that were out there saying we need.
Squee
to
was
save
only
this
during Ralph
5,000
Week, though. He would go up
miles
during Ralph Week,
because this bottom
impregnate
is
a few
pristine,
girls.
and we can't allow these
I like
fishermen
beer.
in there because it's pristine. Well,
still
we've
like
been in there
beer.
for 40 years, and so if the environmental groups can deem the place pristine, and we've been operating in that area for 40 years, and they can't find any evidence where we've done any damage, I would say we've been pretty good stewards of that 5,000 miles.
It's great stuff down there, right?
Oh, it's great stuff.
Great stuff.
Great stuff.
Take care
Great
of
stuff.
it.
The
All
best
right?
stuff.
That's the one thing I'm asking
Stuff
you.
like
Take
no
care
one's
of
ever
it,
seen.
Okay? Please, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to, my name's James Odlin. I've been involved in this fisheries for 50 years off New England, both as a captain and as a vessel fleet owner. And I served on the council for 9 years, helping make some of these regulations. I worked on the Habitat Committee issues, where we worked for many years, and then we were ready to roll, and all of a sudden,
I'll take that
we get
bet,
this,
Marfa.
order that said, your work doesn't matter. We're going to just close 5,000 whole square miles. We were looking at discrete.
So this is a really
Special
big, this is a
areas.
really big deal for you people, isn't it?
We worked long and
This is
hard
the
on that
whole
issue.
deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just got one other thing, Mr. President. You know, I want to reiterate that the stocks of fish off New England, groundfish, are at historic highs
Is that because you were stopped from
because of
fishing?
proper fish management. The issue is we've got millions of pounds of fish out there that are not getting caught annually, which would equate into hundreds and hundreds of jobs.
So will I
We
be
need-
allowed to go fishing in that 5,000-mile piece?
Sure
Would
you
you
could.
mind if I took a little boat and went fishing out there?
I would love that. Take an
We've
RV.
got some regulations that are preventing us from harvesting these healthy, sustainable fish stocks. And we need help getting those
Is that
regulations.
not being taken care of in what we're doing?
Well, I just heard this now that they've asked the National Marine Fisheries Service and Commerce to look at some of those regulations.
Do you know about it?
Yeah, it's a commerce issue. I'm happy to
You
work with
gotta
them on it.
just take it over.
But I have some worries that they will
Take
just
it over.
tweak around the edges. And
Just
not
take it
really
from the
do-
take the commerce from the
David,
Department
I
of
have some
Commerce.
inside information that that's what's going to
Okay,
happen.
we got it.
If
All
I may,
right.
sir, the executive order that you signed several weeks ago has very clear, direct instructions to take care of those regulations. So this president is already on this case. There is a process underway.
Trump has
And that
no idea
gentleman
what he
across the way
signed.
will ensure
And Navarro
that
has
the
to step
commercial
in.
fishermen of this state will be able to fish the waters here without undue regulation. Full
So we're
stop.
cutting regulations from highways and roadways to fish.
Fat man in a little
That's what
boat.
Peter's talking about. Go ahead,
Yes,
Pete,
sir.
do you have anything to say?
You guys are great today.
This is the jobs president. This trip
It's.
today.
I don't
goes
think the system's letting
and
anyone
creates
swear, but
jobs from Brunswick and
I'll
Bath,
fucking swear for you.
Bangor and Guilford, all the way up and down from Bar Harbor down to Kennebunkport. And this president is the working class president, and this state is a hard scrabble state. It's a working class state, and people in this state should not have to face a federal government that takes away your livelihood. These two executive orders combined are the greatest news for commercial fishermen in the last 50 years. And this first order will clear off the decks of undue regulation. The second order, as soon as he signs that and gives away the pens to all you folks here, will set free the fishermen of this state.
Well,
it's
they
a
took
great
your
day.
lives away. They took your livelihood away from you.
So traditionally, presidents will sign a bill, and they'll use one pen for a letter, and then another pen, and then another pen.
Thank
Trump
you,
just
Mr.
uses a
President.
Sharpie
First, I
and then
just
hands
want
out
to
a box
thank
of
you
new
for coming
Sharpies.
to the state of Maine to talk to our commercial fishing industry. As was pointed out already, it is a first, and we truly appreciate it. And we also appreciate the action you're taking.
It's like getting a
today.
game-used
I don't
souvenir
think there's
stick.
a single industry person around this
It was
table
at
that
the
disagrees
arena.
on the need for it and why it is so important. So thank
There,
you very
Lizzie
much.
figured it out. You got through.
My name is Mary Beth Tooley. I am the Government Affairs Manager for the O'Hara Corporation. out of
Really,
Rockland,
Danielle?
Maine.
You couldn't say effing?
I brought the boss with me today.
That's effing
He's on the other
stupid.
side of the table, Frank O'Hara Jr.
You
president
guys
of
just
a-
have to
a
do your own
family-held
broadcast.
Company, as I said, in Rockland, Maine, and I know that he spoke already. He provides an awesome history of a family-held company that started in 1907.
Lets me do it.
In T Wharf in Boston, Massachusetts. Has been present here in the state of Maine since 1944. And is definitely multi-generational.
So what's the
He
stupid
has
question going to be? I'm
sons
not even
coming
listening
up
to her
and
because, you know,
grandchildren
woman.
being born, and
But
the
what's
goal of
Trump's
the
stupid
company
question
is
going to be to follow up here?
maintain
Now they have a
sustainable
place, right?
fish. So I don't know, Frank, if you want to add anything to that before I go on?
What's that?
Do you want to add anything?
Frank
on
wasn't
that
listening
before
either.
I go on?
No, you got it. You know,
No,
we've been
you're
around
great,
for a while.
great, honey.
We've gotten through wars, depressions.
Sweetie,
We've
great.
gotten through overfishing from the
But
foreign
this
countries.
was the worst thing that you've been through, I'll bet, right? What happened to you when they took this away?
It didn't affect us as much as it would have affected John, but it will affect us because once they take one mountain or one canyon, they'll take another one and another one. They'll go over to the West Coast.
Are you involved in that area?
Paula Page.
We used to be, but we're not. We do scalloping, which is more to the south of that. So our scallop boats, which is replicated by that model over there, we do some scallops, but
I will
mostly
donate
it's crab and
38 cents
lobsters
to you
out that
guys
way.
if you do your own broadcast.
We're flatfish.
Is that a new boat?
That's per annum.
There's a new boat built down in
So
Ducklick.
they look pretty old, right? There's a lot of design talent there.
Oh,
Yeah,
boat.
yeah, they got the new bulbous bow and a quart nozzle. It's lower carbon footprint. We're building another boat starting next year.
How much, brand new, how much does that boat cost?
Always ask how
Just
much
under
things
4 million.
cost.
How much?
Just under $4 million.
It's the real deal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Very good. Okay, good. Well, you're in good shape. Thank you very much.
So if I could, excuse me,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I
could
just had-
the woman continue?
But I just wanted to say very briefly, because I don't need to be repetitive, I am a former member of the New England Fishery Management Council.
What kind
and
of per
served,
capita?
For 9 years on that council. And so you have here around the table current members of the council, past members of the council. Most of our industry people have all served as advisory panel members to council's committees, and we hope one former council member as well. And as the public process, I think people have outlined
She should
why
smile
we think
more.
it's so important, and we certainly do endorse that. And I will leave it at that. Thank you
Okay.
again.
Thank you very much. Good job. Please.
Hi, I'm Terry Alexander. I own Jordan Lynn Incorporated. It's a
Tree
fishing
Fitty.
company. And I based all my comments on trying to convince you to sign that executive order, so they're pretty moot right now. But I would
They're moot,
just
like a
to point
cow's
out some of the
opinion.
highlights on it,
Nobody
and
cares.
Then maybe touch on some ideas.
We'll go quick.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President, for supporting our nation's fisheries and fishing communities.
Why would this guy spend his time writing out a
these-
list of things
these
trying to get
monuments, even
Trump
though they're south of
to
New
sign the
England,
bill that he came
they
here?
push
Sorry,
people- they
proclamation
displace people, and
that he came
they're
here to
affecting
sign.
the entire fleet
This guy's an
all
engineer.
the way to shore. So it's a good thing to open up area.
So
to
they
let-
get solved.
Right. Yeah. So
Excuse me, are there media from Maine here? Are you liking what we're doing? Huh? You can say.
The media's
Yes,
job is to
anybody-
report,
anybody else
not to
from Maine?
like or dislike.
From the area? They
I
all
think
come up from Washington.
everybody's having a great day. Everybody, especially
so,
George Floyd.
So that's already done. So I'm gonna touch on a couple ideas how the Canadians, how it's not fair for the Canadians. The way we have to compete against the Canadians offshore.
Tell me about that.
All right. So we try to catch haddock, different size, same fish. We negotiate with the Canadians every year.
And how do you find negotiating with them?
Oh, it's a
They're
huge
pretty good.
haddock.
I'm on the TMGC.
Headache.
New England Fisheries Management Council. I'm in my 8th year there. They've been good, and
You're not allowed to fish for
negotiate
snark
every year,
in
and
the transatlantic
they catch
sanctuary.
their entire quota almost every year. We catch.
A lot of people just
10%
catch
of
the
our
snark,
quota
cut
every
off the fin, and throw it back in, which you've killed the snark at that
well,
point.
we're about even on haddock, but it's because of our regulations.
But are you even plus?
Mesh size is the wrong size for catching haddock over here. So
We'd like to change it just for the halibut.
that needs to be fixed, and we can get that stuff done through the council. But,
I should call myself the Great White
Sell
Snark.
that on eBay tonight.
I won't sell it.
Go ahead.
But we can fix that through the council. We just need the incentive of DC pushing that stuff,
Well, we'll
that
get
kind of
that
stuff
done.
too.
And you're working on that.
Yeah. So
We'll get that done.
yeah.
It's an
We'll
honor
get that
that we're
done.
Doing what we're doing. I mean, you people basically they took away your livelihood. It's ridiculous. Took away your life. Wait a minute, 1 second. I'm going to sign this for you.
Is he signing autographs now?
Whoever wants this, yeah. We'll take it.
Just signing autographs, giving
so
away.
come on around real quick and we're gonna sign this
Headshots.
up. Everybody get and take one of these. Keep it in there.
Equivalent plus. Equivalent plus plus. I'm going to take it one step further. Biden's already promised equivalent plus plus plus, which I find fishy. This needs to end.
We're
Finn.
giving Maine back a big part of its history, a big part of its industry, and we're giving you back your fishing rights to 5,000 miles or square miles. That's a lot. Boy, that's a big chunk. That's a big chunk.
That is a big chunk, but frankly, it's a red
So
herring.
do very well. Say hello to the people of Maine. They're great people. They were very nice to me. I'll tell you that. And I appreciate it very much, but I know you appreciate it much more than I do because you're getting a lot more than
Now,
I
during
am,
this time
okay?
of social distancing, let's all
Good
gather
luck,
together,
everybody.
all of you who haven't been tested.
And they're going to work on those other things with Peter and David. Okay?
See, he signs it with one Sharpie.
Okay, pass them out, fellas.
And then he's just going to pass out Sharpies that weren't used. It's all a show. This entire presidency is just reality TV. Is he going to take any questions? Keep the audio up. Oh, we're just going to leave C-SPAN? We're just going to go home now? All right, we missed the beginning of this. We're going to go back and watch the beginning of this because he probably said something stupid. Let me refresh. Talk amongst yourselves, which you've been doing anyway. Let's see.
A lot of the main companies, lobster companies, have been forced to open up companies in Canada.
The audio's on them.
Send their
That's
lobster
C-SPAN doing
to
its
Far
thing.
East And to Europe. Because we don't have an agreement with the EU.
Paul fucking LePage.
Of course, China levies a 40% tax on Maine lobster, U.S. lobster. So what the...
So easy to handle.
Yeah.
All you have to do is put a tariff on them and you'll have it done in about
Sorry,
2
the
months.
fish feed is
We'll talk
frozen.
about that. So the EU, in other words...
I'll finger this out
charges
at
a
some
tariff,
point.
Yes.
And therefore the Maine lobster people...
Have to pay 20%.
Have to pay 20%, is it, or 40%?
Yes, it's about 20%.
So they have a tariff, so it no longer makes it
And
competitive.
if it comes from Canada, Canada has an agreement with the
Oh,
EU
maybe we did
that
see the
no
whole thing.
tariffs.
We might have caught this right as it started.
In addition to that, the Canadian dollar is 30% weaker. than
Yeah,
the
we did.
American
Okay.
dollar, and therefore, they're making a jump.
Okie doke. So at some point, he is going to give a rally. That's up on C-SPAN already here. Let's check in on that. Where? Let's see. Commercial fisherman. I think that's what we just watched. Yep, that's what we just watched. And then they've got a rally set up where they're playing the Michael Jackson songs, etc., as people wait for Trump. And I had that up earlier. And then they switched over to this. So they got rid of that. I don't know if he's going to speak now, but he wanted to do a rally in front of some fishermen so they could be the beneficiaries of his rally. There's still no questions taken today by the president. He did his initial conference about how great it is that we're at 13.3% unemployment, didn't take questions. Did a helicopter moments where he just walked out of the White House directly to Marine Force One, got on and flew off, no questions taken, ignored the questions from the reporter, and then right there, no questions with that, at least not the C-SPAN covered. And next he's going to go give a rally, if he does the rally. Can't I be both, Cam? So I'm going to let you guys go and make myself some lunch. I'm not seeing anything on here about the other feed. Maybe I can go back and see if that feed is still coming through. Give me a second here, because he might be walking right from that table to the rally stage. Nope, that's earlier. Yeah, C-SPAN is completely... by the way, earlier today he said 186 countries. It's 188. It has been for, I don't know, a month now. Every time. Except once. Every time. He hasn't said 1917 in a while, though, and I've been waiting for him to get to 100th time because he was at 80 or 81. He hasn't called it the 1917 flu, and I still haven't decided what we have to do. We have to have some kind of big celebration for that. I'm lobster rolling my eyes at your joke. I don't get it. 1917 flu. That's right, Rich. We just pointed that out. I might have something fishy. I do. I have some salmon, I think. I think I have some tilapia. So that's a good idea, Lizzie. I didn't even connect the two. My stomach doesn't think. It just consumes. I was thinking mac and cheese, but then literally 24/7 I'm thinking mac and cheese. So yeah, I'll go find some fish in the freezer, and see what I can have that. Let's see. Paula Page was Trump 1.0. Yeah, he really was. I can't remember. I think he was still governor when Trump came in. But yeah. Several of the people there wearing masks. I saw that. Statman, nice to see you. Okay, I'm going to go to the credits here, guys, and get myself something to eat. And then we'll see you if he does come out and talk and C-SPAN covers it. Because I think he's going to do a rally. So if you want to come watch that, I understand it's Friday. It's fucked up Friday. We've already had way more than enough Trump. If you don't want to join me for that, that's fine. You guys keep me interested. You're making me laugh, and I appreciate that. Kevin Lee Cousin, I don't have any sardines. Why would I have sardines? Who has sardines? Ugh. Oh, I do have some tuna. I could have, there's so many jokes I could have made with tuna right there. So many puns I could have gone with, but I didn't. Anyway, I got to fish this. And we'll be done in just a second. Here's the closing credits. Hey, if you want to be on the closing credits, all you have to do is go to kevinleefather.com and become a patron. Or, alternately, you can just send me some money on PayPal. PayPal.me/KevinLeeDad. So, PayPal.me/KevinLeeDad. Or, if you want to become a patron and be really special and dear to my heart, and I'll like you till the end of time or when I die, whichever comes first. Actually, if the first one comes, the latter will come at the same. I mean, if time ends. Speaking of time, it's time to go. Go to kevinleefather.com and donate on the Patreon. Here's your credits.